I'm here today with Nathan Agin of Nonstop Awesomeness, and Nathan and I are pretty good friends. We go back a couple years. Hung out at WDS, the first one, and we were friends before that, just through the blogosphere. And he's an awesome guy. He's up to some really cool things. We've also got similar interests when it comes to like health and nutrition, and so today we're going to be talking about me, I guess. Nathan offered to give me a little audit on how I'm spending my time and how to make my day more productive and just all around better. So I was up for the challenge. So thanks for being
Awesome.
here with us, Nathan.
Well, thank you very much, Emily. Really, my pleasure to be here, and also, I mean, I am a solid member of the Puttylike tribe, trying to smoosh all of my interests together.
Definitely.
I think I'm finding more resonance these days with like all these different areas, but yeah, I definitely appreciate the work you do and what you're up to, and so yeah, I'm just excited to see how we can go through your day and really optimize it. What I'm calling these are optimal living audits, because what I've found, I've been on the road traveling for the last couple of years, no home, just a backpack, and it isn't. It isn't difficult. It isn't rocket science to stay healthy out there, but it definitely takes a commitment, and it takes work, and it takes diligence. But then I think anybody anywhere, even if they're not traveling, even if they're more stationary, they can use the same principles to really keep themselves healthy on a daily basis. So it's really just taking what have I figured out and learned while I've been traveling, and how can I now share that with you and with your audience today. So let's get right into it. Can you give me an overview of what your day looks like? From when you get up to when you go to sleep.
Sure. So I have a pretty good morning routine that I've sort of perfected over time. It's changed a little bit in recent months because I got a puppy a few months ago, and she needed a morning walk and whatever. But so I get up in the morning, and then I take Grendel out, and we go down the street to the dog park, and we spend half an hour. She runs around with the puppies, and I chat with the people, and then we come back, and I usually make myself a healthy breakfast. And I eat a paleo diet, by the way. And then I head off to a coffee shop usually. I've got a few coffee shops that I like, and I put in about 2, 3 hours of work. And I try and do my most creative stuff in the morning. Like I try as much as possible not to be checking emails or scheduling appointments and that kind of stuff. I just try and do my writing or brainstorm, that kind of thing. After that, I come home around 12 or 1, make a healthy lunch of some sort, take Grendel out again. Then my afternoons and evenings are pretty free. That's usually when I do either a little bit more work, sometimes the more administrative type of stuff, emails, tweeting, that kind of thing, or hang out with friends. I like to have, kind of a balance between structure and flexibility. So my mornings are very structured, and I try and keep my afternoons and evenings pretty free. Um, and yeah, sometimes I'll usually put in a couple more hours at some point in the afternoon or evening, um, and that's pretty much my day.
And then dinner, at
Oh
home,
yeah,
you make dinner.
yeah. Well, I pretty much make all my meals. I go out occasionally, but yeah, I make dinner. Yeah, and then in the evening, same thing. I'll either hang out with friends or I'll do a bit more work or you know something like that.
Great. First of all, I want to commend you on what sounds like a really fantastic kind of, daily set of habits. It sounds like you're doing a lot of things really well, and at the very least, now all of your audience knows how well, like how you rock everything you're doing. It's
Right.
like, yeah, it doesn't just materialize. It takes
Mhm.
commitment to these things. So that's really awesome that you're doing that now. I'm curious to know, are there any areas that you feel challenged in your day? Whether it's okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, okay. So in the month of November, I was trying to do NaNoWriMo, and I did it. Do you know what that is? It's like you write a
I,
50,000 word novel in a month.
okay, yep.
Yeah, there are people all over the world who
Okay,
are
cool.
doing this. So for the first week, I was totally on top of it, and I got my 2,000 words a day done, and I was able to pretty much do my other work. But after that, I just kind of like, I mean, I also kind of wasn't sure where my story was going, and then I just kind of fell off the wagon with that. But I just found it hard to like to do that and to get my other work done. It was like I only have so much creative energy, so like if I spend my time writing and working on this one project, it was hard to write like blog posts in the same day. It was like one or the other, you know. So
Hmm.
that kind of, I don't know, I mean, that's not like a regular thing, but sometimes I feel that way in general. Like I wish that I could, I mean, I guess everyone wishes they could get more done, but yeah, so there's that. And then the other thing I would say is exercise. I've been trying to like fit like body weight exercises and such into my schedule, and it's a little bit tricky. Like I want to, one of my big goals for 2013 is going to be a fitness goal. I'm not sure what that's going to consist of yet, but in terms of squeezing that in, because I find my energy is lower in the afternoon, so it's harder to go then. I like my mornings to be creative and evening, yeah, so like fitting in the exercise and that kind of thing too. It's a little bit tricky.
Okay, cool. Well, so what first comes to mind, and this is how I approach my day, like the things that are really important to me, I do first. And so that's like, right after I get up, I do an hour of creative work, like meaningful work,
Mm-hmm.
something so that even if something happens and the rest of the day is kind of taken from me, for so to speak, that at least I've done something that has meaning to me.
Yeah.
And then after that, I do some exercise, something light to moderate, and then I do my computer stuff. And so I said had a different kind of schedule, but now it sounds like you guys are going to the dog park.
So you were just
Is
breaking up
that
there a little
typically
bit.
like how the morning? Oh, okay, sorry. So what do the mornings look like now with Grendel?
Oh, yeah, now I get up and I take her out and we spend about half an hour at the dog park. Um, and then,
Okay,
yeah.
so what I would do, and this through, uh, and
Oh, you're
it's called
totally
net
breaking
time.
up here. I'm not sure if it's working in the recorder, but
Let me see here.
let me see what I can do. Maybe I got some things I can close. Um,
I can put things too.
okay. Okay, well, it seems to be working all right now.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll just pick up.
Okay.
So something I heard about just recently was this a concept from Tony Robbins called net time, meaning no extra time. What is an activity you're already doing that you can just add something else in? For example, like I have this weekly mastermind group conference call. Well, that's a call where I'm going to be walk during that. It's not something new I'm building into my schedule. It's just something that's already happening that I'm just adding that walk to it. So, with your time with Grendel, maybe that's an opportunity for you to do some strength training or something like that while she's running around or whatever, doing her thing, like, or go jump on a tree and do some pull-ups, you may have to get creative, but what is something, where's an activity that you already have in your life, you can just add, that exercise in where it's that, no extra time.
Mm.
And the other part would be, as soon as you wake up, they're up and they want to like go to the park or they want to go do the activity or whatever it is. But if you might have some time in the morning that you could devote to like your personal writing. If you got up and maybe that first half hour of your day was just your novel writing. And then when you get to the coffee shop later, that's when you were doing the blog writing or writing other content for Puttylike or wherever else, whatever else you're writing on. Those would be a couple ideas I had in terms of like finding ways that you can add that in. I mean, I think anytime you're with Grendel, that could be a great opportunity, especially if you're out, to get some exercise yourself. And then also, I mean, it sounds like you have you value spending time with friends. and maybe finding ways that you can exercise socially. Like what are some exercise things that you and your friends can go do, whether you go rock climbing or whatever, anything like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good idea. I was actually I was talking to one of my paleo pals about doing some lifting together because he knows what he's doing, so that could be
There you
fun.
go.
Yeah.
It's uh, there was something that just came into my head and then flew right out. So I don't know what it was. It was good in the moment, but now it's gone.
Cool.
So it sounds, yeah, but it sounds like you have like a lot of things like really well in place, and that's really great to hear, because a lot of times, people and I remember I sometimes refer back to myself to an article that I wrote for your site, actually, because it was something that like really made sense, really continues to make sense for me. It's like, do you just roll out of bed and start your day, or do you proactively, kind of attack the day with, what do I want to do? What are the activities that are going to really set me up to have a great day and have, 100%, whether it's nutrition or exercise or more mindfulness or connection. It's really looking at, what do you value? What are your top values? And then figuring out, okay, if movement or health is one of my values, then how am I practicing that on a regular basis? If having deep, genuine, meaningful conversations with other people in the physical realm is something I really value, I hold important, how am I practicing that? So that what we're doing is actually, is in alignment, is in integrity with what we say is important to us. It's not enough for me to walk around and be like, I really care about my family, they're really important, but if I never call them, it's like that just doesn't make sense. So the same thing, like, if I say, oh yeah, I like to eat well and I like to take care of myself, but I'm eating like pizza and donuts every night, like it just doesn't match. So it's just a continual practice, just ongoing.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for getting into meditation? Is it just like start with like 2 minutes, like as small as possible, and then go from there?
Well, that is definitely part of it, and it's funny you brought it up, because I decided, I asked the readers on my site, like, what do you want to know how to do, and the majority came back and said, how do you start meditating? And so I put together this kind of holiday crash course, this like 3-week thing, where it's really about, or I'm calling it, 'Tis the Season to Relax, because for a lot of people the holidays just are stressful, and there's just a lot going on, parties and planning and trips and travel and dinners and all that kind of stuff. And I think meditation can be a really great tool to have in your pack at this time of the year. And also it kind of gives you a jump on those New Year's resolutions. It's like, start the new habit now, as opposed to like, oh, January 1st I'm going to start to meditate. There's kind of 3 principles, and this is from this book, I think it's called The Relaxation Revolution, and the guy in there describes it as practicing relaxation. You need 3 things. Number 1, you need some kind of point of focus, and that could be your breath, that could be numbers counting down, it could be a mantra or an affirmation or a declaration you say silently, something that your mind can focus on. Second thing you need is a passive attitude toward your thoughts. Because because you will have thoughts when you meditate. A lot of people will say, how do I stop my brain? Like, I keep having thoughts while I'm sitting there. Why won't these stop? I say, it's actually good that your thoughts are showing up, because if there were no thoughts at all, it would mean you're dead. And until that point, thoughts are going to show up. So as you're sitting there quietly meditating and you start thinking about, your laundry or that blog post you want to read or that conversation you need to have or whatever, you just, once you realize you're thinking about that, you kind of take a step back and you go, oh, all right, let me just let that go. There's no judgment. There's no, oh, geez, I wish I weren't thinking about that. It's just like, oh, I was focused on that. And I still totally get wrapped up in that. I'll be meditating and I'm like, wow, I have not been present for like 5 minutes. I've been thinking about this entirely. Let me let that go for right now and come back to my breath, or come back to whatever I'm focused on at that point. So that's number 2. The third thing is an adequate amount of time to practice, and they recommend 12 to 15 minutes a day. Now that is potentially a lot for somebody just starting. So yes, I would say I'm all about laughably small baby steps. Set yourself up for success. And so even if you need to start with 30 seconds of just closing your eyes and focusing on your breath, that is huge. And that is 30 seconds more that you are tranquilizing your mind than if you didn't do that. Then you just allowed it to keep spinning. And and again, if we're looking at consistency over intensity, as opposed to trying to meditate for like 2 hours, you've never done it, go with 30 seconds and do that every day for 2 or 3 weeks. And the long-term impact of that is going to be so much more than if you were to try an hour in one day and then wait a month and do it again. And eventually, over time, the momentum will build, your endurance, shall we say, will build, and that's how my practice started. I started with 2 minutes. It felt like torture. I wanted it to be over. I hated it, and now I meditate 30 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening.
Do you set a timer or something? Like, how do you know? I've always wondered about that.
I understand there are a bunch of apps that will create chimes or whatever,
Yeah.
but I will use I use a couple different things. I use a lot of meditation tracks that have these binaural beats, which are designed to slow down your brainwave. And those are great because it's through this company Entheos, and they have this product called Blissitations. And they're like rain, ocean, and water sounds. And you can even overlay or underlay, I guess the term is, your declarations, your truths. And that will be on some kind of subliminal level. What I love about those tracks is I just hit play, and when the track is over, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about, has it been 10 minutes,
cool.
15, 25? It's just one thing I don't have to think about, because that's part of, definitely, I think the stress of meditation is like, God, how long has it been? How long do I need to keep sitting here? And when just let the track play and then it's over, if you just let that be your guide, that's great. The other thing I will do if I'm doing just silent meditation is I'll just use my phone and set an alarm. And when that goes off, usually I'll kind of set it so like only the alarm will make a noise, so I'm not interrupted by calls, and I'm not like picking up the phone and it's like, oh no, I'm meditating. I can't talk. So that's what I use. And other times I'll just like, if I just want to go, like maybe I'm at the beach and I just want to meditate for a while, I'll just like sit there and meditate. And then it's like, okay, how long has it been? And sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 45, It's just, being with yourself, and the benefits of meditation, from reducing stress and anxiety and worry, and in boosting, focus and creativity and productivity and positivity and all this stuff. It really works.
Cool. I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, I said that before, and I did a little bit, but now I'm because like health is gonna be such a big focus for me in the upcoming year. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and again, like it can be just a simple 30-second or 1 minute practice, even just to begin.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are doing it and you are committed to it, huge impact in the long run.
Cool. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about before I start asking you a couple of questions about what you're up to?
I think the couple things I mentioned in terms of finding that net time, to exercise, or that opening hour of your day for creative work. That was something I got from this guy, Dr. Eric Meisel. He calls that a morning creativity practice. And I've been doing that for over a year. And the first hour of day is something creative, and it feels good. Especially if you are maybe you're working a full-time job that isn't your passion, and you have this side project to start your day before anyone else is up in the house, and whether it's at 4 a.m. or 5 or 6 or whatever, and to devote an hour to your project, something that you care about. Then in 1 week, maybe you've spent 5 or 6 hours on that project, and you've made a lot of progress. And it's before the whole day can just like disappear before you. So I think that can be a really helpful thing. But again, I want to say, like, it sounds like you have some really great things already in the works, and it shows because of what you're able to produce.
Thanks. I've found that to be true also, that just the earlier I can start something, the easier it is to get into a flow state, and the more I feel like I accomplish, and it just makes a big difference. I think also I'm going to try starting to go to bed earlier, and so I can wake up earlier, and that'll help too.
Yeah. Well, and again, start it, like, okay, can I go to bed 10 minutes earlier?
Yeah.
Can I go to bed, 10 minutes earlier and then get up 10 minutes early?
Right, that's a good
Just
idea.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's again, laughably small baby steps. The kind of stuff where if I said, Emily, could you commit to going to bed 5 minutes earlier? You'd be like, that sounds silly. Of course. It's like, great, start there.
Cool. Good idea.
So, what did you want to know about what I'm up to?
Yeah, well, I wanted to. Why don't you tell the Puttylike community a little bit about your new show coming out and maybe some of the coaching that you're doing and whatever else you're up to? Because I know you're, like you
Sure.
said, you're a multi-potentialite. You got a lot of stuff on the go, so let's hear about it.
Yeah, and like any good multi-potentialite, I'm still figuring out like how does it all converge and come together.
Hmm.
But right now, yeah, I filmed the pilot for this new travel show called Travel, Eat, Thrive, and it's focused on when you are out in the world and you want to go get something to eat. Where is, as I call it, the awesome, ridiculously healthy food? And where can you go to get those meals? Because we all need food, we all love food, and many of us love going out to eat. And so, where is the food that we want to eat? And it's typically the stuff that you see out there on travel shows or whatever is the crazy, ridiculous stuff that like maybe you want to eat like once a month.
Hmm.
It's indulgent, maybe it tastes good, but it may not be the healthiest. And taste is important. Like I don't want to, I like vegetables, but I don't want to feel like it tastes like grass, like I want it to be full of flavor and all that kind of stuff. So it's about finding where are the great restaurants out there all over the world, and then how do we help, you at home bring these ideas back to your kitchen? Because maybe we'll showcase a restaurant in some part of the world that you are, not there or you have no interest in going to, but you want to prepare one of those dishes for your family, for your friends, for your community. So it's kind of a cross between Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution and Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations. Kind of that, going around and really immersing yourself, and then how can we support you at home to, eat this way? So that's the show. Right now it's actually on Kickstarter, and we are raising funds to finish the pilot, hire an editor, get the post-production done, and then go out to, sponsors and production companies and distribution to see what might make sense in terms of the future and direction of the show. So that's what that is, and yeah, I'm doing these living audits.
Well, I just want to say about your show that when I saw it pop up on Facebook, I was like, "This is so perfect." 'Cause it's like such a good group hug of your interests. It's like it's a perfect smush between like traveling, health and nutrition, and like acting. Because I know you've got a background in like acting and film and that kind of thing too.
Right.
So it's like this project that's going to allow you to like explore everything, well, a lot of the things that you're interested in.
Yeah, I love that term. It's a group hug of my many interests. I love that. And you're absolutely right. And I've been continuing to kind of brainstorm what other pieces of the show I'd like to have, whether it's virtual cooking classes or even in-person food tours. Is a big thrill of mine, and that would literally like I'd love walking around and traveling and sharing this stuff. So to be able to do that with a group of people in the real world. Not just on TV, I think would be really exciting, and is definitely the tours and the classes would support the show and vice versa. So it's again, how can all this stuff come together? But yeah, so that's kind of the main thing, and then because I think I've figured out, at least for myself, a couple things of how to stay healthy on the road and what I've learned. I'm doing these audits for people to help them understand, like, yeah, how can you get more kind of control in your day in terms of structuring it so that it supports you and you are doing the things that are important to you, and then if that goes into further coaching, I'm happy to do that. But I actually created this Rules of the Road PDF, kind of this nomad's guide to health and wellness. And if anyone in the Puttylike tribe goes to nonstopawesomeness.com/puttylike, they can download a copy of this PDF and learn more about the audits and even find out how to save a little money if they want to get an audit themselves.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure people will get a lot out of that.
So yeah, that is, like any good multi-potentialite, a tip of the iceberg of what
Sure.
is roaming around on my side.
That's awesome. Well, it's been really cool to watch you grow and to see all the neat projects that have been coming out of Nonstop Awesomeness. And where, I mean, I just kind of let this slip, but where can people go to find you?
They can go to nonstopawesomeness.com. That is kind of the home. And yeah, I've been trying to build these short links. So like if you go to nonstopawesomeness.com/Kickstarter, that'll take you to the Kickstarter page. And for anyone who isn't familiar, you can back the project even with $1. So if you check out the project and it resonates with you, it's something you would love to see. Every bit helps, and we really appreciate all the backers we've had up to this point. We're doing well, and hopefully it will continue.
Awesome. Good luck on that. And yeah, good luck on everything. Keep us posted.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Great. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, and really always a pleasure to talk with you and share this with your audience.